Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening from where you guys are coming from. Welcome to another episode of the DaVon Lewis Show. Appreciate you guys coming out, showing your love and support. As tonight, I'm covering AEW Collision Saturday night. It was an on and popping show. It was great. I enjoyed it from start to finish. Couldn't go wrong to basically how things were being delivered tonight. The card was on and popping. It had so much action going on from start to finish. Starting off the card, we end up having Eddie Kingston versus and with Ortiz versus Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli. Then we also had Buddy Murphy versus Daniel Garcia. And also we had Adam Copeland with an open challenge tonight. The follow-up match was John Moxley versus Shane Taylor, which we ended up delivering a banger. Couldn't go wrong when it comes to that match. And also we had a return of Thunder Rosa making her return into a singles action against Queen Aminata, which was one of the best showcases of the night, basically for the women's division. They went for a lone case, and I really enjoyed it when it came to how they delivered this match. Come along, wherever you guys are coming from, feel free to comment below, like, comment, subscribe. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook, feel free to share. It don't take. It's free 99 to share. There's no hidden packages behind that. But I appreciate you guys. If you're a fan of the professional wrestling, feel free to comment below. I'd like to know your own best, your opinions, what you're feeling, how you came about yourself when it came to professional wrestling. And it's always good to hear from you guys in a long way. Much love to you guys. Well, let's get on to AEW Collision. Collision started off red hot. We had John Moxley in the match with Shane Taylor. That was the opening match. This match was very hard hitting. It was very good. It was very decent. I enjoyed it from what it was. The fans were very highly invested when it came to how things were being delivered in this match. You couldn't go wrong whatsoever when they delivered hard hitting moves, their transitional moves, and everything else just fell into place the way how they really have great chemistry, how they delivered themselves from the match. The match began with both of them hitting exchange strikes. Moxley was hitting them with Shane Taylor with a couple of vicious chops. Taylor knocked him down a couple of times, and then, of course, they basically just rallied back into a corner, including with chain wrestling moves back and forth. Then Moxley tried to fight him off, including going with a couple other transitional moves. Shane Taylor also hit him off with a couple of misses as well when he tried to hit him with a splash. He failed to deliver when it came to directly trying to take advantage of Moxley when he was down. And Moxley basically rallied back over the time as he started to fight with Shane Taylor throughout the match, sent him over to the outside of the match and sent him to the steel steps. And of course, Lee Moriarty was on the outside and hit him with a pump kick and for the referee's distraction. And from there, Leroy Moriarty rolled John Moxley back into the ring. And Shane Taylor tried to hit the cover for a side slam, but it was developed to a kick out. And then Shane Taylor continued to work with Moxley throughout majority of the match. And Shane Taylor tried to climb the ropes for a second ropes again, and he goes for another splash, but he ends up missing. And then from there, Moxley ended up becoming more transitional the way how he carried himself with a couple side suplexes, and he was rallying back with a couple of hot spots, including follow up with a lariat, which then Shane Taylor followed up with his own lariat as well. They were going back and forth with the way how they were handling themselves in this match, and couldn't go wrong with that. Shane Taylor ended up basically locking up with getting locked into a Moxley when Moxley set him up with a triangle. And then Shane Taylor ended up always having a counter for everything that Moxley was trying to do throughout this whole entire match. He ended up countering with basically a nice slam, dropping him, and then he hit him with the anvil elbow to counter Moxley when he had him in a triangle. And then, of course, he went for the cover, and Moxley ended up kicking out afterwards. Both men continued to exchange blows, getting to their feet from their knees, and then ultimately, Moxley was able to get him and hook him into a bulldog choke, and Shane Taylor ended up passing out, and John Moxley ended up becoming victorious by picking up the submission win on Shane Taylor. Of course, Leo Moriarty was on the outside, was looking a little bit disappointed with the way how things were turning out, and then they concluded back into the ring with a camera cut to John Moxley. He demanded a mic, and then he proceeded to go on the mic, and he said he's basically pissed off beyond belief, and he's hunger beyond belief. And he says that he's not taking no more everybody's crap for anybody anymore, and he wants anybody to step up and keep up. And then it pans over to the commercial break. But for myself, from that, John Moxley's looking to take on all comers. He don't care if it's his own stable mates from the BBC or even if it's somebody who's brand new coming over directly. But he's handling his business and he's being serious the way how he's handling himself. You can't go wrong with that whatsoever. For all you guys that's just tuning in, appreciate you guys making a little quick stop, even if you're just doing a little click through, or even if you just go catch up later, or if you're on a drive somewhere, you just need somebody to talk. We'll listen to you on your way to wherever you're going through for your occasion Saturday night. Appreciate you guys rolling through. They come back from commercial break, and then the next match comes along. It's Adam Copeland versus Dante Martin. This match was really good from the get-go. Adam Copeland had the fans popping from the beginning when he had came on his entrance. The fans were singing along when it came to the Metangulas. You can't go wrong to that theme song. It's an instant classic. Everybody loves singing that song, and you can't go wrong when it comes to Adam. Adam, wherever Adam goes in professional wrestling, and if that theme is playing, people are going to carry on to that, and it just makes a good feeling and giving chills every time Adam comes out. Right off the gate, Dante Martin and Adam Copeland started it off by hitting some strong spots directly at each other. With a couple of arm drags, a couple of chain wrestling moves, they were really putting it on tonight. They really stepped up their pace, the way how they delivered each and every single move, and it was pretty decent. The way how Dante Martin was holding his own, I give him more respect for the way how he was basically stepping up, and he gave Adam Copeland a run for his money. How he handled himself directly, and this match had everybody invested. Myself was included invested. I stayed tuned. I had nowhere to go. I enjoyed this match 100%. The way how they delivered, including with their transactional moves, including Dante hitting a nice high spot with a cross body, and then of course Adam coming off with hitting this couple of signature moves, and then the most important part was a nice pop spot when Dante Martin tried to go for a springboard and Adam hit him with the spear, and then hit him with the crossface to submit him and put him down to sleep. But of course, Adam Copeland was looking to get some respect from that, and he appreciated Dante Martin's longevity of how he handled that match and how he did. He gave Adam a run for his money, and he fully respected him. I respect Dante as well. He's getting a lot better each and every single time we see him in a square circle. Can't go wrong when it comes to Dante, and I enjoy everything that how he handles himself and how he does things, and you can't go wrong with that. They come back directly from the commercial break. Then we have the next following match. It's an interview with Adam Copeland, and Tony Schiavone comes directly into the ring, and he has a nice interview with Adam Copeland. And Adam basically give it straight to the point. He said he gives credit for everything that he does for all his hard work each and every single week. He gives credit to Dante Martin. He says he's a young guy and have been stepping up each and every single week, and he stepped up to him, and he enjoyed that. He says that he's going to keep coming out and delivering for hard as he can, just like Christian said when he first came into AEW, that he was going to outwork everybody and be a hard, dedicated worker when he came to AEW. He said he's going to keep working until he wins the TNT Championship, and he says he will be the TNT Championship. He will be the TNT champion the next time they come into this city. So it looks like they're already teasing that as to when he will come about and set that next challenge when they come back. Moving on, they went into a next segment, backstage interview. Lexi Nair, she was interviewing Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli. She was engaged with them about their current main event that they're getting ready to go into a match with Ortiz, and of course the main man, the AEW International Crown Champion, which is you can't go wrong with Eddie Kingston. That's my man right there. He's been a little underdog, but he's still being consistent on how he's been handling himself and how he's been doing things. For you guys tuning in, appreciate you guys coming out. So you guys are watching, being consistent. Feel free to comment below, throw a thumbs up, share it. It's always appreciated. Um, on to the interview, but basically back into it. Bryan says losing to Kingston was the lowest point of his career, but it was the highest point of Eddie's career. He says that it doesn't make him great, but Claudio says it doesn't make. They don't want even want to talk about Eddie. He says Ortiz is going to be a casual tonight, and a pan over to commercial break. This feud has been going for a while between Eddie Kingston and Claudio. They have a standing feud, but they have great chemistry, how they deal with each other directly in the ring. And they always done a phenomenal job how they handle themselves. And can't go wrong to that directly with that feud. Same when it comes to Bryan Danielson with Eddie Kingston. Those two know how to make it happen and how to basically mesh together. It's like um, right on rice. You can't go wrong when it comes to how they deliver themselves, and you can't go wrong when it comes to Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston. After they come back from the commercial break, Lexi Nair is in another interview. She is talking with Top Flight and Action is Ready. And Private Party comes through and interrupts the interview directly and says, and then Top Flight says Private Party says that they beat Top Flight, and Action says they use the ropes to win, and Quinn says, "Hey, you tripped," and then Cassidy says that they should have Party with Copeland, and Darius challenged them to another match, which is going to be Private Party versus Top Flight. These two teams, as well as one of the hot newest teams in AEW on both sides. We got the originals. We got from Private Party, who's been here since day one, and then we got Top Flight, who's a new upcomers who have been doing their thing. Can't go wrong to how they handled themselves, and I enjoyed it 100%. And it's never a miss when it comes to how they deliver themselves and how they work together. I hope the next time they get together and they have a tag team match that they give them enough time, between 20 and 30 minutes, because that match can go a long way and the fans will be fully invested from the last match they had. But of course, it was short change and it's all good in the long run. Moving along, Thunder Rosa. She comes out. She's in a match with Queen Animata. She's been one of those ones. She's a golden one right there, Queen Animata. She's been doing her own. I really highly appreciate the way how they've been showcasing her. She's been signed to AEW, and she's one of my new favorites right now in AEW. The way how she's been handling herself with each match and developing herself. The Queen's been doing her thing, and I really like the way how these ladies really got enough time to showcase themselves and deliver themselves. And you couldn't go wrong with the way how things are working out for these ladies. Starting off the big gates, the match started off with Rosa knocking down Anna Minata, and she goes to work on her directly, working on a couple of shoulder tackles and a couple of transitional moves in between. Then Minata comes back with a comeback and a hit her with hit Rosa with a backbreaker. Then Aminata drives her knees into the stomach of Thunder Rosa. Rosa returns with a couple of transitional other moves as well in the ring and hit her with a tijeras. And then from there, Thunder Rosa ended up hitting with a drop kick. They panned over to commercial break. Aminata is on an offense. She's controlling majority of the match. And she has Rosa in a corner, and she goes to working on her. Both ladies continue to exchange strikes with each other back and forth with a couple of elbows back and forth. And Aminata ended up hitting a snapmare and a couple kicks to Thunder Rosa's back. Aminata ended up hitting a couple of hip attacks as well. And she goes for a running Larry, like the running kick that she normally goes for, and she ended up missing. Thunder Rosa ended up countering in the corner, and then she ended up hitting her with a running drop kick. Rosa ended up hitting a Northern Lights suplex, and then she ended up headbutting Aminata. They both collided with each other, and then Aminata ended up countering, and then ended up hitting an air raid crash for a cover for a kick out. Aminata ended up hitting with a pump kick, Thunder Rosa returned. Well, she basically countered it with a drop kick, and then Thunder Rosa ended up hitting the Tijuana bomb for the win for the 1, 2, 3. It was a great transition for these ladies in this match. Thunder Rosa's looking great when it comes to how she's been spotlighted. Same when it comes to Queen Aminata. She's one of those great ladies. They both seem like they really have a good chemistry. I know in the past in the Indies, they both faced each other, and they really were showcased tonight for the women's division, and they did a phenomenal job. Lexi Nair's back in another interview, and she's talking with Eddie Kingston and Santino Ortiz, and they're having a great direct debate and then talking to them about since they teamed up because the families fight. But he says Bryan and Claudio is not family. Eddie asks if he can get along, and he straight up just leaves. And then Ortiz says, "Hey, Kingston's doing as best he can. He'll do the majority of his talking in the ring and go handle it and go from there." Let's see. Then they pan over to a commercial break, and then they come back to the Bullet Club Gold. They're hitting the ring, and they're getting ready to do the in-ring promo and deliver themselves. Colton gets on the mic, and he says that they have come back on Saturday for another thing with the Bang Bang Gang. When he says it's a different vibe when them back on Saturdays. And White says, Jay White grabs him is on the mic as well, and he says it is a missing steel. And then Austin Gunn as well, who's out there for them. Basically, and to make sure you guys don't get confused, is Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, and Jay White. They're out there as being the Bullet Club Gold, and they're out there doing their in-ring promo. And getting back to it, Austin says that they are the best trio in the world. Then the Claims music hit, which is Max Caster and Anthony Bowens and Billy Gunn. They come out directly to the ring as well to have a chat with the BBC, and then they go from there. As Matt Caster says, it is a whole different game to stay on top, and proposes that they team up. He says that they will be unstoppable in the ring, and he says that the fans will want to see Billy Gunn win singles gold, and most important, they would love to see Jay White become the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And the fans totally agree, and Max Caster gets the fans into a chant of getting into the Bang Bang Super Gang, and then also Anthony Bowen says he wants to answer directly from Bullet Club Gold. Or they're looking basically to form a union and go from there. And he says he could see them every week and White stops some gun and from scissoring, and they discuss about it and go into the corner. And then the Bullet Club comes out, and basically make a union ship of working together and becoming a super team. The Bang Bang Scissor Gang, and that should be kind of highly interesting to see how they conduct themselves and how they become about how everything goes along. Can't go wrong to the way how they made it from. They continue to be funny. They continue to bring the comedy when it comes to just overall how they deliver. And I look forward to see how this new stable come along as they get ready to gear up to take on the undisputed Kingdom, which is going to be that next big feud. And we're going to see them boys get it on. And can't wait to see that, and I'm going to enjoy it. Moving along, they end up going to a video package of Toni Storm. This is already here pre-recorded. Toni Storm is getting an interview, and she says she knows of Deonna Purrazzo. She says she remembers their time in Japan. And she says that she will meet and greet her, then beat her and eat her. That was kind of a little odd. Love the way how they did the promo, but they still do a nice little transparent shot with the black and white. And I always love the way how they've been doing with Toni Storm directly off the bat. Can't go wrong with that whatsoever. And when they continue to build up, we're probably in the future going to have Deonna Purrazzo versus Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Championship. And I look forward to seeing that match and seeing how it goes, because I know it's going to be really good. Buddy Murphy's in the ring. The music's playing from an entrance. He's taking on Daniel Garcia. This match was really good from start to finish. I enjoyed it. The way how they delivered every single move from counters to chain wrestling to the way how they deliver themselves. They did a phenomenal job when it came to high spots, including off the ropes, including other transitional moves directly that kept the fans highly invested. Myself, I enjoyed it. I always enjoy House of Black. They're the most dominant thing on the block, and I continue to support them as they continue to be one of those great factions in all of elite wrestling. Um, Throughout the match, everything was going really well, including a couple of knockdowns, including a couple of high spots of transitional hits. And then they pan over to commercial break. And then FTR comes down to the ring as well. And then the match continues as Buddy ends up hitting a jumping knee on Garcia. Then he ends up coming back with a pedigree on the apron. And both men continue to try and continue to go at each other. And then Buddy ends up slamming Garcia with a knee against the post, and then Garcia counters as well with a dragon screw leg, and then ends up putting Buddy Murphy into a figure four leg lock around the apron for a couple of seconds until the referee hits the count. Then he breaks it up. Then Garcia rolls back directly in the ring, ends up applying a sharpshooter, but Buddy Murphy powers out of it, and they ended up going back and forth again when it came to hitting their trademarks. The pacing was phenomenal, the way how they handled themselves and how they direct themselves, and you couldn't go wrong directly with the way how they deliver themselves. Hey, what's going on, Miss Allison? Thank you for dropping by. Appreciate you showing your love and support. You're always a great one, and I appreciate you, sister. You're always great for the way how you do things. Um, After the match, the House Black gets into the ring and they end up brawling with FTR along with Daniel Garcia as they go into a trio six-man brawl out, and then it goes over to commercial break. Then I guess security and then broke it up, and then they pan over to FTR and Daniel Garcia, who's directly in the backstage along with Lexi Nair, and they're doing a direct interview. And then Dax says, "This has gone long enough." And then next week they're going to end it with they will be doing a transitional elimination steel cage match. So that means each individual will be in the match, and then until each member of the team has been eliminated throughout the six-man tag. I look forward to seeing that match this following Wednesday on Dynamite. I feel like that's going to be a really great match. Can't go wrong when it comes to trios action, but this will be the actual first trios match under a steel cage. I know they have had a few other matches, variants with blood and guts, but it's going to see how this turns out, the way how they do elimination style, and go from there. Moving along, we end up having Roderick Strong versus Matt Sydal. This match was really good from start to finish. It was okay for what it was. It wasn't as great as it can be, but they still put on a great banger. It was great seeing Matt Sydal still working things out when it comes to being back from an injury. And they went back and forth. They really was hitting a lot of high spots, a couple of hurricanranas, fair chops back and forth with each other. And they were doing their thing when it comes to doing a lot of chain wrestling, keeping themselves invested, doing a lot of corner chops, taking advantage of each other when it came to how to figure each other out. And majority of the match ended up becoming really good, including with Roger Strong hitting a couple of his signatures, including a backbreaker, and then also with a hurricanrana, and then hitting off with a strong lariat. And we ended up having Matt Sydal hitting his couple of high spots, until including the Meteora and a couple other transitional moves, including the air raid crash. And I really enjoyed this match throughout the match, but of course, Roderick Strong ended up picking up the direct victory, and that goes from there. The undisputed Kingdom ends up still being undefeated, and they got their whole entire band as Roderick Strong was on his path to face Darby Allin for the International AEW Championship. So we shall see how that match ends up turning out and going from there. The feud is looking like it's going to be really good when it comes to the match, and I look forward to seeing how that match comes along. They come back from commercial break, and then they get ready for the main event of the night. It's going to be Eddie Kingston, Ortiz versus Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli. Um, these two teams have a very standing bad blood for each other. They really don't get along whatsoever based on the storyline of how they mess with each other. But they basically put on a nice tag team match from start to finish, including with Bryan Danielson doing a couple of his nice spots, including mocking Eddie Kingston throughout the majority of the match. And then on top of that, a couple of high spots from Ortiz hitting with a couple of his European uppercuts. Same with Claudio, those two going back and forth. And it was nice seeing a transitional hot tags, including the couple of drop kicks throughout the majority of the match. But the conclusion of the match ended up being fair as what it was. Um, Claudio ended up trapping um, Santana, not Santana, but he ended up getting Eddie Kingston by his legs and ended up hitting him in a low blow between the ropes, basically wedging his legs through the ropes and low blowing him. And Bryan Danielson took advantage of this match, ended up hitting the knee, and then he ended up hitting him with the label lock and sending that match into the submission. And of course, we're going to see how that goes in the long run of that feud. It's probably going to continue to go on for the longest part. Post match of that match was kind of nasty the way how they handled it. They really were still cursing at each other, going back and forth, trying to continue the bad blood, continue going between these two teams. After the match, Eddie Kingston was looking displeased, upset about the match being lost. And then Bryan Danielson ended up walking to him and spitting him directly in his face and walking directly out the ring, celebrating because him and Claudio had picked up the victory. And of course, that was the lowest respect you can do to somebody, just spitting directly in their face. And I don't think nobody will care or respect that whatsoever. But this match was what it was. It was going to be nasty. It was going to be hard hitting from start to finish. But in the long run, I enjoyed this match and couldn't go wrong with it whatsoever when it came to how they delivered themselves. But this following show was good, from my personal opinion. Every single match delivered for what it was, including the Adam Copeland match, which was really good when it came to him with Dante Martin. Eddie Kingston, the main event was really good as well when it comes to Eddie Kingston and Ortiz against Danielson and Claudio. And then, of course, the Buddy Matthews and Daniel Garcia was my highlight of the night. I enjoyed that match. And then the women as well with Queen Aminata and Thunder Rosa did their thing. And I couldn't ask for more of better match of the way how they held themselves. But all the while, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I know you guys got so much to do for your Saturday night. I don't want to hold you up, but I appreciate you guys coming out, showing your love and support for the channel, if it's either directly on my Facebook or on my Twitter or even directly on my YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe. That's free 99. There's no hidden packages from it. Support the people you care for and love for, and they'll do the same thing back. As myself, I'm always going to show that love for you guys. Now, thank you guys for coming out for this live stream. Like, for the most part, you guys be safe. God bless you guys, and have a great night. Peace.